Hello, friends. From Amsterdam for the final time, I am very happy to have the great Celeste Headlee joining me today. Having a great time here in the Netherlands with Julia. Thank you so much for your support. There's still tickets to Podjam available if you want to join us next week in Vegas. I hope you'll think about coming. Hope you've had a great week, and I am very happy to have you here to listen to today's conversation. And yes, this is an intro I'm actually taping on Friday morning. So I did read about, of course, and hear about all the way over here in Amsterdam that Trump fired Attorney General Pam Bondi, which is no shock. And I am surprised that it wasn't worse than that so far. But that's about all I've heard. And all I thought I was going to miss was the whole idea that Kristi Noem's husband liked to dress up like a large-bosomed woman. But I guess I've missed a little more than that. So didn't get to talk about the week's news so much with Celeste Headlee, but we had a great conversation as always. I think you're going to love. So go check out her new book. Go pre-order her new book that she mentions, of course, and support her in all the ways on social media, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, and so much more. Let's do it right now with the always amazing Celeste Headlee. And remember, I can't do any of this without your support. Patreon.com/Pete Dominic.
Oh, one of our favorite people to talk to. One of my favorite people to talk to. She always hits you right between the eyes. She just questioned me in a way that made me feel uncomfortable and amazing at the same time. Getting to the root of things is something you cannot have small talk, and neither can I, and I love that about you, Celeste Headlee.
I guess that's true. I'm a booster for small talk. People are always like, oh, I hate small talk. I love small talk. I'm always trying to get people to have small talk, and it's good for you, even if all you're doing is talking about the weather. But I guess you're right. I always tend to.
Let me try it this way.
Back the layers.
You can do all of the talk and you like small talk. But if you're talking to someone like me or someone that you know, you'd rather just get to the heart of, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? I started talking with you about my daughter. And then you had a couple of questions for me about me and I was like, I loved it. It was like therapy and I really liked it. But that's just, I think when people know each other and trust each other and in this case, hopefully respect each other. I know I respect you. I don't know if you respect me. That was fishing.
Of course I do.
I know I was waiting. I just waited to see how I looked away.
I don't like talk. I don't enjoy talking to people I don't respect. Do you? That's not fun, is it?
Do, because I have all kinds of different things I can do, but I can code switch so quick into comedian and toying with people. So I don't have that whole comedian handling of trolls and stuff. Yeah.
Like y'all are trained in that. That's not my.
So I don't mind and enjoy it to a certain extent, but I can't see you enjoying spending time talking to someone that you don't respect. So I'm very happy that you're here because everybody who listens to you on this show loves you. You're one of the all-time favorite guests because of the conversations that we have and because of your thoughts and the way that you things and see life and see the news and what we're dealing with. And it's so important to be talking about how we're dealing with it and remind each other that we are in this reality and it is similar to each other's, which I think is partially what No Kings was for a lot of us. It was going out there and seeing other people that had at least similar values. How did you define those protests and what they mean, both these and what it means in general, the idea of it?
Yeah, it's about solidarity, right? It's about focusing, prioritizing, and not getting caught up in the details. I may not disagree with whoever that was standing next. I may not agree with them on how exactly we get things done, right? But we both agree on what needs to be done.
Right.
And that's how revolutionary movements have always made progress. You don't make progress if you get caught up in the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty is for later when you've won the battle and you're just figuring out how to allocate the resources. But we're still in the battle now. So just feeling as though you're not alone, feeling as though we do have this connection on the things that are truly important. Don't put children in prison, right? Like it doesn't get more basic than that. Everybody has a right to due process. That's basic. So stop stealing money from the American people. Don't bomb another country. These are all such basic things. How we prevent this from happening is then we get down into more of the details. That's when the disagreement can become really productive. But right now, that kind of disagreement, I don't think is productive. So it was just a moment to feel together. I see all these, especially, I'm not trying to dig on young people because I have high hopes for Gen Z. You and I have talked about this before. Yeah. But I see,
and you're a professor now. You're working at college.
I am. Yeah. I am a light to the young. But in any case, I see especially young people quibbling with how people protest. I saw one video that had a lot of likes making fun of people in dinosaur costumes. And I just want to say, don't do that. That's not helpful. The point is that when you make fun of the way people protest, number one, it's not useful. It doesn't accomplish anything, because there are so many ways that not only that you can protest, but that we need people to protest. We need everybody to protest in every possible different way. Yeah. And one person can't do them all. So we need all of that. But also, you're not encouraging other people to join the movement. So
when you make those criticisms, you're not encouraging.
Yeah, when you take pot shots at people.
But it's also just not smart, because I understand why someone with a kind of surface level thinking and judgment would make fun of people in frog costumes. But if you actually understood the history of protests, understood why they were necessarily wearing those costumes, is we all know that this paradigm based on history and based on this current administration, that they want us to be violent. They want us to react badly. They want us to look like thugs in the streets so that they can kill us, so that they can oppress us, this regime and every other. And so dressing up in silly costumes is a way to show how nonviolent you are, how non-threatening you are. Look at me. I can't even run away, but I am out here showing myself. And I think that's something that's super critical in this movement. And moreover, the fact that we had 8 million people, or over 3,000 different protests, and almost no violence at all. I don't know how you document that as a journalist, as a reporter, as a headline, but it should be like headline, millions of people in the streets, no violence. And that's a really important and very successful outcome of this movement, I think.
Except coming from the police, right? Like I saw videos of one police officer pretty much nearly trampling a man with his horse.
Oh, I didn't see anything like that, but... Oh,
but yeah,
I was trampled by a police horse, but to be fair, it wasn't a protest. I was drunk. It was New Year's Eve, and I had badmouthed the horse. But yes, I deserved.
You deserved that.
I really did.
The horse has a right. Yeah. But in any case, we've talked about this before as joy as resistance. And your profession, comedians, this has been the role of the jester since time immemorial, is to actually help us to really put reality into context by making fun of it, by making light of it. And somehow that allows us in a different way. We need the comedies as much as we need the dramas. And sometimes comedy is even better, is even more incisive at getting to what is at the heart of different issues. But also, the fact is the matter that authoritarian and fascist regimes, one of their big goals is to demoralize us, is to disempower us, to rob you of energy and happiness and make you feel as though you have no power, you have no joy, there's no point.
Yes.
And so to that extent, joy is resistance. When someone is trying to make you unhappy and disempowered, then just being in a state of happiness is a form of resistance against a fascist regime.
I like the way you talk, Celeste. That's perfectly said, and that is capturing so much of the scholarship that has been made of all of these different movements. And so that's exactly true, and it's exactly what we're seeing. I also remain optimistic because I think this administration has lost a lot more than it's won, and I think there's so many more of us than there are of, quote, them. But I'm very worried about where we're at, as everybody is, for all kinds of reasons, but most imminently now because we've been at war for a month. And I didn't know what question. I thought about what question should I ask Celeste about what's happening. And I thought I would start with the fact that you've been a journalist for a long time. You covered all the things around the Iraq war, and you were part of the media at that time covering it. So my question is, and you can answer any one you want about this war, but my first one definitely is, as a journalist who covered the Iraq and Afghan wars, what did we learn that we are or are not using, even though it's a much different conflict? It's also a much different time with social media and phones. Technology is rapidly different, even though it wasn't that long ago. What you learned then, what we learned then, and how we're approaching this and how much different it is.
I will say that I am much more optimistic about media coverage after the first few days of the Iran war elapsed. When it first began, I was seeing signs that we had learned absolutely nothing from Iraq and Afghanistan. Because look, you're right. I was covering those wars. I was not a war correspondent. I was a single mother. But I covered those wars. And we in the news business had major investigations. He had a come to Jesus moment after both of those conflicts because we screwed up. I get to swear on your show, right?
Anything you want.
So, when you fuck up on that epic of a scale, the kind of scale that causes thousands of deaths, it's time for a little introspection. And we had that introspection. We had meetings, we had discussions, we had really contentious and emotional panels and talks, not just among ourselves in the newsroom, but official all staff meetings. And I was at first discomfited by the fact that we were still accepting the language that the administration was using to describe what they were doing, that we were not asking enough questions, that we were adopting their press release framing. But we have since seen that really turn around. Just take for a moment the bombing of the girls' school and how quickly people in the media, munitions experts, turned that around and did real investigation into that video, identified it as a Tomahawk missile, went around the world and tried to identify who had Tomahawk missiles and who didn't, so we could definitively say that the U.S. was the only one using that type of missile. Obviously, they're American-made, but we're the only ones involved in this conflict that are using it. And then almost immediately, the New York Times put in the money. It is a big investment of money and time to verify videos like that and get the kind of experts and munitions experts that you need. But they did it immediately. So that gives me hope. The fact that we are getting in real time, not just here's what the president said about the Strait of Hormuz, but people are immediately saying, not waiting until the next day without evidence.
Oh man,
right?
I'm so glad I asked you that question because it's a really interesting answer. And it's based on the initial coverage, which suggests we did learn a lot of lessons in terms of trusting the government. And also you just included, and I think it's so important, talking about the investment that in that case the New York Times had to make to do that investigation. It's also risky with this federal government, with this regime. The New York Times, by the way, I would add, did a couple of other investigations into these boat strikes, these missile strikes, which are probably illegal in the Pacific, as well as a strike at a Colombian. I'm trying to look it up, but anyway, it was deep investigations that had several correspondents, probably cost tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. And it matters. It matters a lot. So I just want to add those two investigations. Yes, they're both of the New York Times, but there's not enough journalists that are well funded that are in these places where America
they have the money.
Is operating. Yeah.
And you and I have come down on the New York Times, and I will continue to come down on the New York Times. But also they are an outlet that does have the funding and the resources to be able to do those kinds of investigations. And it's a happy moment that they're actually using that funding for the right thing. Yeah. In a way that helps us, that illuminates us. And we are seeing that happen. We are seeing people actually asking tough questions to Trump's face. Now, he's not answering them, but it's important to see people asking these questions to his face in real time, in a press conference. NPR's not allowed there anymore, right? Like we were disinvited almost immediately. Yeah.
Nobody is right now. And a court ordered them that the Pentagon had to let them back in. And I read yesterday that they're still not doing it. They're not abiding by that court order. They're not,
but the New York Times was the one that was party to that suit. They have the money for a lawsuit like that.
Good point. Yep. All very important.
And again, I'm not trying to make this a pro New York Times
I know.
show.
No, I know. But you're talking about journalism in general. The New York Times happens to be able to do it because of who they are and the money that they have.
The Washington Post has the money. Not doing it.
How dare you bring up the Washington Post? Sad. Do I have a sad?
Sad.
Where's
Loser.
my sad? Where's my sad sound effect? Did you hear that? That's how I feel about the
Washington. Carry with me all the time.
That's how I feel about the Washington Post. It's a wah wah wah. Other things about this war that you want to talk about, that you want to react to in any way, including the international coverage. I've tried to, because I do a news segment every day trying to recap everything that's happening, and now I have to do this kind of segment specifically just on this war to try to be responsible and trying to reference international reporting. But goddamn, Celeste, it is getting harder, even for someone. I think I'm pretty good at seeing when something's fake or phony or AI. But man, some of this stuff is not reliable, and too many smart people are getting duped. But how else are you looking at the reporting or anything else around this horrible war of choice is what I'm calling it?
You've said a lot of stuff in there.
I want to give you.
One of the great things about your question is I can just pick and choose.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do there with that one.
We could do a whole show on AI. part of a committee that's looking at presenting a symposium at Morgan State University on AI, and I'm going to be the unpopular
AI
person on that panel.
In general, or in media, or how it affects public opinion?
In journalism and in education. So again, I will be the buzz killer in.
Are you in it more
committee
anti-using?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say this right now: there's no ethical way to use AI.
Wow! Oh wow! Look at that. I want to know more. I have no really strong opinion. I guess it depends on what we're talking about and how we're talking about it, but specifically when it comes to journalism.
We could do a whole show just on that. TLDR is there is no ethical way to use AI at this moment.
Let's revisit that, and I'll have to do some research so I can understand all the different arguments.
You're talking about the war. Let's just talk about the fact that the president basically through he uses Truth Social, right?
He owns it.
Blew up the NATO and the special relationship with the UK this morning.
What happened this morning?
He sent out that thing talking about England. He said, let me find it right here. Oh, here it is. All those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran. I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. Number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part's done. Go get your own oil.
Oh, boy. That is a lot. When were they not there for us? Specifically, what is he referring to?
He wanted them to join him in the war on Iran. And he just basically said, okay, to NATO and to the special relationship with the UK. I hope all those Keir Starmer and all those other politicians in the UK that spent all this time sucking up to him feel good about that now. How'd that work out for you? But yeah, in one frickin' post, I don't know what they call it on Truth Social, one post, he just basically pooped on the whole thing. Like, this is the problem with having a moron in the Oval Office. He just says what he wants. And it's our fault writ large that we have let him get away with it so that he just keeps doing it. Like, a moron should be outcasts. Like, they should have no power, right? If they don't have any idea of what the effects of their actions are and they just do stuff, those are the people you avoid and stay away from. You certainly never put them in the CEO's office. So that's on us, those who voted for him. But, like, he has no idea what he's doing.
None.
No idea.
None.
And all of these, frankly, it's idiotic to treat him as though he does know what he's doing, to try to come up with strategizing. You don't strategize with a toddler.
Yes,
right?
he doesn't know what he's going. He doesn't know how the day is going to end. Every day, I think the easiest way to understand both his motivation and his psychology is that every day is another episode of The Apprentice or a reality show where he's just producing all day, getting reactions and trying to get as much attention as he can. Doesn't matter what kind of attention, just trying to dominate the news cycle. And he certainly didn't like it when it was about Epstein and questions regarding implicating him in any way. So a lot of people say this was a distraction. I argue Israel was empowered and seemed to decide to go on their own and told Trump, we're going, you can either join us or not. And then he got on board, which is weird because they wouldn't have done that with any other U.S. president, I don't think. But I think Trump is weak, and I think Israel thought Iran was weak. So strategically, they did it. But in the end, this is a huge clusterfuck, it would seem, for the world. And we're only alienating ourselves that much more. And I just can't see where this is going when, as you and I are both talking about, the plans are being run by an absolute madman who doesn't know which side of the bed he's going to wake up in the morning.
No, he's 100% only concerned about himself and his impression.
Yeah. He's definitely not concerned about members of the military, which is something I like to include in every conversation, because I've always stayed engaged and connected to veterans, active duty, and those who've retired, and their spouses, their families at home. You've covered veterans issues and everything around what happened to a generation of American veterans as a result of the Afghan and Iraq wars, the way that their families were broken, the addiction, suicide.
Well, let me put it for you in very personal terms. My fiance and the father of my son was in several armed conflicts, including Desert Storm, ended up with horrible PTSD after he got back from Kosovo and Bosnia. And the Army refused to treat him for so long that he wasn't good. I had to raise my kid by myself. We're talking about wars like this and then what they do to our soldiers is generational trauma. And that trauma is not just his trauma. It's now passed down, not just to me, but I can handle it, but it's passed down to his son who did not grow up with his father. And this is, you can repeat this in different variations all over the country. And that's just from one armed, there's Desert Storm, and then there's Kosovo, which Kosovo became Bosnia. And then now we're back at this again for no frickin' reason.
Yeah.
And to gain nothing at all. It's just the most, it's absolutely, look, I'm a Buddhist, and to deal with people who have no respect for life, just do not in any way hold life precious, human or otherwise. Obviously, they don't respect animal or plant life at all, but they don't even respect human life. They don't care. And that, how do you deal with that? How do you have a conversation with that? How do you negotiate with that? You don't. That's sociopathic behavior. That's borderline antisocial personality behavior. Yeah. And you can't negotiate with it. And look, you know me, I'm all about talking about everything, talking it through. But talking through something requires some level of basic humanity. It requires some level of intellectual honesty. And we do not have that in the leaders of the United States right now.
I really appreciate you sharing that very personal detail and being that vulnerable with me right here. I think that's such an important way to illustrate your point about the point I was trying to make. I certainly couldn't make it better than that. And it matters. It matters when you commit the American military because you're committing their family. And the repercussions are, as you said, generation wide and in ways that you could never have imagined. That's what's happening right now. I saw people saying goodbye to their sons and daughters yesterday and crying. They were crying, as you would imagine them, because they're going off to war, potentially. They're being deployed. They're being used, I think, is the best way to say it, and abused, because speaking of which, Pete Hegseth news is that he is finally going to testify before Congress for the first time. And I'm sure that's going to be a fun day. What do you have to say?
Kudos to the people in Congress who are actually asking tough questions and saying things out loud. Kudos to my sister in Los Angeles who actually asked Kristi Noem about her having an affair on a government jet. I think Kristi Noem brought her husband to the hearing because maybe she thought people wouldn't bring up her affair with an employee. Corey Lewandowski is beneath her in the organizational chart.
Yep.
I thought maybe she thought that they wouldn't bring that up, and kudos to shout out to my home sister from LA for actually bringing that up. I'll tell you what's been bringing me joy is the clips from congressional testimony of some of these witnesses just having no answer, right? Just being at a loss for words, as they should be.
Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is the only person I really saw quite be at a loss, but yeah. That's what
but even the others, they start talking and they're just blathering nonsense because they have no answer.
Yeah.
It's the same as silence.
It's part of
right?
it. It's not only no answer. I also think that the answer they give, they're not sure if it's the one that is going to get them in a lot of trouble. And often you give the answer that the president has said today. So you try to line up with them, and the next day he changes his mind on you. We've never seen a leader anywhere that does that. And that's a scary thing when you're working for someone and you're trying to be on the same page, and then he just tears the page out and shits on it. And that's exactly, I think, what we saw from anybody testifying. I hope he likes this. I don't want to get in trouble with the boss.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also say sometimes when the legislators are expecting lies, and they sometimes will take the steps they need to immediately refute the lies. Kristi Noem saying we haven't deported any U.S. citizens. Okay, we have several U.S. citizens in the chambers right now who were deported. Can you stand up, please? Some of them are bringing in, let's put up on the screen this tweet in which you said the very thing that you said you never said.
Yeah.
That is bringing me joy. I'll tell you what else is bringing me joy. And I think we might have talked about this before, but my collection has gotten even bigger. Is of all of the angry judges. Like, judges are just losing their shit.
Oh, are you aggregating angry? Do you have an angry judge list?
I have been collecting.
Share your angry judge list. Yeah, from
raging judges.
Yeah,
and some of the most irate are these old white Reagan-style Republican judges.
Because they don't they don't care about what the case is. The fact that the person comes in not knowing what the job is, it seemingly the initial point of rage with a lot of these judges. You're not qualified to be here, and that's not up to me, but I can tell you don't know what you're doing. That's not how you do it. I think that's what we're seeing a lot of it. There's no case against this person. You have no evidence.
Elon Musk. Oh, and there was a great ruling where one of the lawyers had written her brief with AI and then tried to pretend like she didn't, and it was just classic.
That'll get you in trouble.
But like the ruling against Elon Musk, in which he was trying to sue advertisers for having a conspiracy to not advertise on Twitter, that's a classic, man. They're just basically, you came here with nothing. Like, you have nothing. You've wasted my time. That's essentially what the ruling says, is get out of here. It's dismissed with prejudice. So that's also bringing me great joy.
I like, can we do this? Can we at least do this like every month? What's bringing you joy? I like that a lot. I never have to work hard when I'm in conversation with you to make it really interesting and thoughtful and poignant and learn something. But if we have a list, if we have an agenda of Celeste's, in this case, things that are bringing you joy, that's a positive. I'm always happy to do something positive. So thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah. And honestly, listeners, share what's bringing you joy also, because I'm going to try it out. I was thinking the other day I was having a very low day. I love my students and they're brilliant and bright, but boy, young people will try to get away with the squirreliest shit. The excuses for absences will blow your mind.
Well, maybe they won't blow my mind, but other people's.
Maybe not, but they blow my mind. Like,
I have a book. I wrote a book.
I would never have tried to get away with that crap.
There's got to be. I set my alarm on my Alexa, and it wasn't plugged. So many technology. You can blame so much technology now, I think is probably what. But I have no idea, of course, because my excuses are old and don't work anymore.
But yeah, I was down and I was like, okay, so what makes me happy? Tacos. And I just went and got tacos. I got 10 tacos.
Oh, good.
I could only eat 2 of them, but my son lives in the downstairs apartment, so he ate the rest of them. Like, they're small things. I feel like it's not just the big stuff, but these small little...
Oh, yeah. I took a walk this morning that was glorious. I knew I was going to be on a plane for 7 hours, and I got out there. And
is everything blooming up there?
I saw honeybees pollinating bluebonnets, and it made me I was over the moon. I was so excited to see little honeybees. That always brings me a lot of joy. So whatever brings you joy, all these little things, this is a great thing to put it in your gratitude journal, which I often will do as well. Just reminding you.
Yeah, or just we spend enough time ruminating on what's going badly. Can we spend an equal amount of time thinking about the things that are going?
I have a new podcast idea that I want your contribution somehow in. Real quick, I haven't rolled it out yet, but it's called 80-year-olds. My parents are 80 and 82, and they're very with it. They're very funny, and they're dealing with all of the things that 80-year-olds deal with. I talk to them all the time. I'm like, why aren't we recording this? Why aren't we recording this? Every single around 80-year-old can relate to your frustration, from how to use the remote to getting scammed to all things healthcare. We're doing it. It's called 80-year-olds. It's just me talking to my 80-year-old parents and them being funny and complaining about 80-year-old life. What do you think?
I think that's awesome. Right. All about it. I have a podcast idea that would be called Do You Hear Yourself?
Is it just for me?
No, this is completely separate, where I just bring people on and I either read stuff they've written or replay stuff they've said and be like, do you hear yourself?
That's really funny.
Do you hear it?
That's a really funny idea, but isn't that a reference to just having self-awareness? I think a lot about self-awareness, which you caught me flat-footed with earlier, but I think that idea is something that is missing for a lot of us. I don't know if it's a gender thing or not, but I'll speak about men. There's a real lack of how you're acting and how you're perceived, and a certain self-awareness is to know when to, fold them, if you will, and many other things. And so I want to help people with that. I want to help myself with that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just think about all the celebrities. The latest one is Chili, of course, from TLC, where before she posted the thing she posted, maybe somebody should have said, do you hear yourself? And I think it is about self-awareness, but frankly, social media has made us less self-aware, which is odd because we're so self-conscious. But self-consciousness is not the same as self-awareness. It's not the same.
Split the hair, and how has social media made us less self-aware?
Because we put it out there and then we walk away. We just, without any editing, it's like we never bring the prefrontal cortex into play. Our amygdala is just immediately making all these videos and then posting them and then walking away, right? And then other people come on and criticize and be like, oh, I think that was probably a bad thing to say. I don't think all women are morons. And then you get defensive, right? And you immediately, suddenly you start defending this stupid ass thing that you said that you wouldn't, that if you had thought about it for a minute, you probably wouldn't have posted it. Like, self-awareness is the one that goes, oh, yeah, that was probably bad. Self-consciousness is just like, how did I look? Like, for me, it's the difference between hearing and listening. Like, you can hear. We hear all the time. We hear when we're asleep. You can be in a grocery store and we're hearing that music in the background, but we're not listening to it. And it's the same thing with self-consciousness and self-awareness.
I love this. I love talking to you. I'm conscious of the time. And I really appreciate you joining me, giving me a lot of ideas for our next conversation. I'll put you on the spot. Should have asked you this at a time. What is something you've learned recently? It could be tiny, like a new app that charts whether or not you're snoring that my friend told me to try, or something more highbrow about culture or society or history or anything. What is something that you learned recently? And I wouldn't ask, this isn't like a hacky question I ask everybody. I just feel like you're constantly learning, and I try to as well.
I think one of the things that I have learned, I've been writing a keynote on AI, and I have been stunned to learn that AI will almost always choose to kill us rather than shut itself down.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's awful. When they give it hypotheticals and put it into situations like 2001, Hal will be like, I'm sorry, Pete.
I don't like
so
it.
much for your life.
I don't like it when you do it.
It's uncomfortable.
I don't like
knowledge.
when you use my name, and that voice you did was really, I felt like it was happening. I was like, oh my God.
Let me do this more than, I'm sorry, Pete. We'll have to say goodbye.
You should see her face too. She is fully committed to this AI that she is so against as well. All right.
Yeah,
that's
anyhow,
good.
that was
that's
the very uncomfortable thing that I learned.
Wow.
But I also learned, because I love crows, I love corvids in general, and I learned some really cool facts about crows. I've known that crows hold grudges. It turns out that they hold grudges for at least 17 years, but that's when the study ended. So it might actually be longer. What are they, Sicilian? And also, they are super communicative. Like, they have more than 250. We just hear, they have over 250 types of calls. They have really.
Just last week, I saw this crow screaming, and I did not recognize the noises it was making. I'm looking right at it. I go, that is like a standard crow in my mind. I'm trying to find the video.
They learned how to say human languages. There's one crow that's learned how to imitate a cat's meow because it learned that when the cat meows at the door of this one person, she comes out and gives it food. So it goes out there and meows so that she'll put food in the cat's bowl and it can eat.
Here it is. And so I was like, what is it doing? And why is it acting like that? It seemed like it had its attention directed in those weird noises. And then I see it flies over to the ground where people were feeding it.
Yeah, they are
They had food, and then they gave it to
things that bring me joy. Crows. They held funerals for their dead.
Really? Come on.
Yeah. I'm not kidding you. Look it up. Yeah.
Funerals.
Crows are freaking awesome, man. Yeah.
Open coffin?
Obviously.
What do you think of open coffin funerals? You're like Jewish and something. You ever go to one?
I am Jewish, but my body is donated to science, and anything that's not donated is going to become tree fertilizer.
Yeah, I'm going with that too. But have you ever been to an open coffin?
I'm with Carl Sagan. I have been to an open coffin. Yeah. I've turned off of them. I don't want to end on a downer.
You're the one who you know what? I was going to end, and then you said AI is going to kill us all. I was like, what did you learn? And you said AI is going to kill us all. I was like, I can't end on that. And so I think open coffin is way more happy than AI killing us all.
Is it? I don't know.
Open coffin?
Like I should say the story for another time. My father died when I was 9 months old, and they had an open coffin for him, and my brother freaked out because he's that's not my father, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's the reason not to do it. And I just think,
that's why you do it?
No, that's the reason not to do it. I don't want to have my last vision of someone that I love dead. No, it's dumb. I hate it.
It's also idolizing the body, and the body is nothing. It's a jar.
Yeah, exactly. I like ending on that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But if it's crows, it's always open coffin.
Yeah, I have to go look that up. The crows and funeral. I always learn so much from when I talk to you. I appreciate you doing this with me, as always, Celeste. Thank you very much.
Happy travels.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for watching live. I appreciate you very much, Celeste. Go follow her. Any plugs? Anything you need to plug? I'll plug all the things on the way out. But
go pre-order my book. It's called Freedom's Daughters. Get it at bookshop.org. It comes out on October 10th, and it is the best thing I've ever written. It's unlike anything I've ever written for. Please, pre-orders are so important to authors, so please go pre-order.
If you could do anything for Celeste, she's done so much for us. Please go pre-order Freedom's Daughters. I can't wait to get it and read it myself. On it. Thank you, Celeste.
My pleasure. Happy travels.
All right, that's it. That's all I've got for you for the week. I'll be back on Monday with you some way, somehow, flying back on Sunday. So I will talk to you on Monday right here on Stand Up. And thank you so much for being here. Patreon.com/Pete Dominic. Subscribe on YouTube and Substack. Hope to see you in Vegas. That's it. Bye-bye. Be the change you want to see. Let the brave meet the challenge, let the weak flee. Oh, you better stand up, stand up. When you're tired of begging, saying pretty please, that's the time you gotta finally get up off of your knees. When you can't see the forest for the burning trees, you got to stand up. Hey, you've been sitting so long, you got the creaky knees, you got to stand up. Stand up. I think you're driving wheels with leaking grease. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Well, there's a whole lot more of us who know what's right. They'll keep right on ignoring us if we keep sitting tight. You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. Let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear when all you hear is a lie. So get up off of your butt, get down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, well, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up, stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up, stand up. You know they can't deny what you're laying down. Oh, you better stand up. Stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. This is the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up. Stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up. They had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for loss, and since they weren't in sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change would begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. We gotta let him know it's his time to go, and make it clear when all we hear is a lie. Why you lying awake wondering where the money all went? It'll be the cost of freedom that'll go unspent. You can see him flee the scene of that experiment if you stand up. Alright, we got to speak up, we got to reach up, and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show a beat
darkness to the voice inside. And listen well and it'll tell you not to run and hide. It says stand up